Hello and welcome. Our very special guest today is the legendary Oscar-winning actor Ernest Borgnine. Ernest, really appreciate you taking this time with us.
I don't know where you get that legendary. I'm still trying to make a name for myself.
Oh yeah, right. Just a wonderful list of films that you have been involved with and so on. Now, I understand you were raised in
Hampton, Connecticut.
The East Coast, and your mom actually was from Italy. Is that true?
Yes, I spent part of my childhood over there with my mother.
You grew up in a normal home, went to high school, and then joined the Navy, I understand.
It was bad times, and of course, my mother and dad were living together, and they were back together again, and I'd gone through school and everything else, and that is high school. And came the time to get a job, and I found a job, or they found a job for me. I was working on a vegetable truck for $3 a week, and all I could eat.
Oh.
Tell you, man, I got sick and tired of those bananas in a hurry.
I bet you did. Now, you joined before World War II, and then...
I went in 1935.
35. Yeah. You re-enlisted, I understand.
Yeah, I went back after... I was going to go the same day, December the 7th, but my mother pled with me, please don't go yet. Don't go, please wait till they call you. I said, Mom, I've got to go, I've got to. And this friend of mine actually saved my life. He said, you've got 6 years at sea and sea duty already. And he says, you rate shore duty. I said, shore duty? Me, a gunner's mate, and shore duty? I mean, that's kind of crazy. He said, no, you got it coming. We called up the First Naval District in New York, and they said, oh, yes, well, we can't put you anywhere else, but we're going to put you on board a yacht. I said, a yacht? He said, yeah. He said, you're going to be in charge of showing these kids from Columbia University, how to handle guns and everything else. I said, man, that's a job for me.
So you actually trained the soldiers?
Yeah, I was a trainer, and we did everything. But in the meantime, the things got so bad along the coast that they decided, by golly, they were going to use us as to chase submarines.
I think, right. Was it your mother who encouraged you to get into theater?
Yeah, she said to me one day, I was home for a couple of weeks, and she said, well, are you going to get a job or what? And I said, oh, yeah. So I went out looking for work, and I couldn't see myself locking up in a factory for 9-10 hours a day. That's like going to jail. So I said, I'd take my lunch and I'd go to a movie or go somewhere. And then one day I came home, I was pretty disgusted, and I said, Mom, for 2 cents to go back in the service again and do my other 10 years and get a pension, at least I'll have something.
Yeah.
And out of a clear blue sky, she said, have you ever thought of becoming an actor? She says, you always like to make a damn fool of yourself in front of people. Why don't you give it a try?
Well, she saw something in you.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And I looked up and I saw that golden light. I said, Mom, that's what I'm going to be. You
made your Broadway debut in the play Harvey.
Yeah, it was with Helen Hayes, and I worked with Joey Brown, and then, there was a number of others, James Dunn. We had a wonderful time, and finally I went in to get a screen test for Columbia. And they sent me out to the coast to make a picture it was a picture called The Mob.
Oh, yes.
Roderick Crawford.
That's right.
You've been shooting off your mouth for 2 days around here. Who told you to use my name in the docs?
Oh, you must be Castro's boss.
I'm Castro, and I don't have any boss.
Not even a wife, Mr. Castro?
That was a pretty good film, actually.
Yeah, it was. And because of that, they offered me a contract at Columbia. And I said, I'm sorry, but I said, I can't. I just can't. And Mr. Cohen himself, the great big guy, from the front office, said, what do you mean you can't? He said, well, what is this? How come you can't? I said, well, you see, my wife likes to stay close to her.
Well, the one that I think really put your name on the map was From Here to Eternity. What a great film that was.
From Here to Eternity, yeah. That the one that wanted to give me the original contract said, don't worry. He said, I'll give you a call back one of these days. And he said, it'll be for something good. And he said, I know that we can get you, you know. I said, fine, you know. And I waited a couple of years, and I read the book, and I said, knowing there's a God above, I'm going to play the part of Fatso Judson. I don't know why I picked that role, but that's the way it was. And that's what they called me for.
Still goes down as probably one of the greatest films ever made. It's just a fantastic film. It really
I
is.
tell you. And Frank Sinatra, my God, he was never better. He was a beautiful person.
Yeah.
I loved working with him and everybody.
In 1955, you landed the lead role in a film called Marty. And this is still at the beginning of your career in Hollywood, and you won the Academy Award for Best Actor.
Hello, I'm Burt Lancaster. Recognize that fellow? His name is Marty. Never heard of him, hmm? Well, you will, because we made a picture about him. No, I'm not in it. It's all his. And the name of it is Marty. I'd like to show you some scenes from it. It's the story of a Saturday night in a man's life. The preparations.
Oh, what do you feel like doing tonight?
I don't know, Ange. What do you feel like doing?
We're back to that, huh?
The phone calls. The heartache.
No, Marty,
Oh,
please.
I like you. I've been telling you all night I like you.
Marty.
All I want's a little kiss.
No.
Please,
No.
please.
No, Marty.
All right, I'll take you home.
The pain. The plain, simple pain.
No, Ma, I don't want to go to Stardust Ballroom because all that ever happened to me there was girls made me feel like I was a bug. I got feelings, you know. I had enough pain. I'm going to stay home tonight and watch the hit parade.
You're gonna die without a son.
So I'll die without a son.
Oh, Marty, put on the blue suit, huh?
Blue suit, gray suit. I'm just a fat little man, a fat, ugly man.
You're not ugly.
I'm ugly.
Marty.
Ma, leave me alone!
What are you doing New Year's Eve?
Nothing.
This is the simplest and the most beautiful love story I've ever seen in a movie. Harold Hecht and I produced this picture. Patty Chayefsky wrote it, and Delbert Mann directed it. And talk about stars being born. The performances of Ernie Borgnine and Betsy Blair make me proud to be an actor. And of the picture itself, well, I'm just plain proud.
I was in the business for 10 years, and I had an Oscar, and I couldn't believe it. And, you know, I still don't. I look up at it every now and then, you know. I can't believe the fact that I am a winner of the Best Actor Award.
That's right.
And it's crazy, but that's the way it happened. And why my mother ever said, you know, you should become an actor, and I don't know. It's crazy.
That role, even to this very day, when you look in the history of motion pictures, they always talk about your performance. It was just
thank you very
unbelievable.
much. Well, you know, I've always felt that I was so afraid of everything at one time. I was a wallflower. I was a real wallflower. I was afraid to approach people. I was afraid to talk to people. I was afraid of everything, you know, that I'd say the wrong things, do the wrong things, and everything else. And then suddenly one day I said to myself, well, if a child can do it, so can I.
Ah.
And I took myself by the hand and I said, come on, boy, you're going to go to work.
You actually played the husband of Betty Davis in Catered Affair. That was great. Debbie Reynolds was in that film, and this was one of her first films. She was on this show not too long ago, and she talked about how she enjoyed working with the cast in that film.
She's a sweetheart. She really was, and you know, the big guy, the director, didn't want her in the first place because he said, no, she's a musical girl. What the hell do I want with her, you know? And by golly, she showed him.
She really did.
She did a good job.
She did.
She did a wonderful job.
You know, I keep getting letters like this all the time. But my real name is Borgnine. Ernest Borgnine, not Marty. You know, the big hope of an actor, after such a success as Marty, is to find another story just as good. I was mighty lucky to be selected by MGM to join some fine players in making The Catered Affair. It's by the same author as Marty, and it's another wonderful story full of laughs and romance and real people. For instance, this is Aggie Hurley, the mother. Betty Davis plays the part. Daughter Jane is Debbie Reynolds, and she does the best acting of her career. I play Tom Hurley, a role that I hope will please you as much as Marty. And wait till you see Barry Fitzgerald as Uncle Jack. Rod Taylor is a real find. Debbie and he are perfect together.
I don't know. I don't know what I believe.
You mean I never told you what I feel about you?
Yes. Oh, yes. But don't ever stop telling me.
But to me, the heart of this picture is much more than just a story of a young girl's wedding. It also uncovers the deepest feelings of real people in a real world.
Oh, by the way, Tom, you'd be pleased to hear that old Casey and old Regan will be coming to the reception. Mrs. Rafferty, of course, will be there, too.
3 more, huh?
Well, of course, I'd pay for them.
Did you ask Mrs. Rafferty?
I did.
But we don't know her.
Well, she don't know you, but she'll come.
You know what? Everyone's invited to this wedding. You too. We're sure you're going to have a good time.
Being we're on the subject of war pictures, one of the best ever was The Dirty Dozen.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or you can follow up in combat, in which case I will personally blow your brains out. Or you can do as you're told, in which case you might just get by.
Now you hold it right there. This war was not started for your private gratification, and you can be damn sure that this army isn't being run for your personal convenience either.
Ernest Borgnine as General Warden. I'm tired of seeing generals portrayed as desk-bound pen pushers, says Borgnine. So I've played Warden as a rough professional soldier.
That was a good, Bob Aldrich could really produce a wonderful picture. You know, he was a great director. God bless him. And Flight of the Phoenix, he did Flight of the Phoenix as well.
One of my favorite pictures from 1965. Yeah, you had a good part in that one, working alongside James Stewart.
Yes, I did, yeah.
Picture I wanted to get to before we wrap things up here, and that's the Wild Bunch.
Oh, the Wild Bunch. What a sweetheart that was.
Oh, it was a great film.
We
Of course,
worked
William
hard
Holden.
on that one, and it was all shot down in Mexico, and believe me, these fellas, we knew what we were doing, and it was wonderful to working with the director Sam Peckinpah, because he was so good, and he realized that we were professionals.
Well, it was such an incredible plot. It really was.
I saw one just like it in Waco. Hey, Pike, you know what I hear? I hear they got one of those things up north that can fly.
No, that was a balloon, you damned old fool.
No, the old man's right. They got motors, wings, go 60 miles in less than an hour.
Driven to the border by the irresistible thrust of civilization were the remnants of the breed that had made the West wild. They called them the Wild Bunch. Dutch had dug for gold. He gave up digging.
How many cases did you take from the train?
16 cases of rifles. We lost 1 on the trail.
He stole it.
Like you said before, the writing in those days was something
writing,
special. It really was. Your wonderful role on McHale's Navy on television, and you also were in the series Airwolf, so you did a lot of television along the way as well. That was good. I actually, as a kid, I loved that series.
Oh, sure, yeah. And another thing was McHale's Navy that everybody loved. Well, I did everything in McHale's Navy that you couldn't do in the regular Navy. And after the first day of shooting, this Navy fellow that we had as a liaison person, he said, "What are we shooting here?" I said, "We're shooting McHale's Navy." He said, "But this isn't a." I said, "No, it's McHale's Navy." Oh, he said, "Well, don't call us, we'll call you."
That's
after the first year, they wouldn't have anything to do with us. And after about the second year, I got a call to go to the Pentagon, and I went to the office of the head of the whole Navy, the Secretary of the Navy. And I'm sitting in the Pentagon having lunch with him. And I said, sir, this is wonderful. I said, I appreciate it, but why am I here? He says, you're the best recruiter we've ever had.
That's great. That is really great. A lot of the kids, because you are big with a new generation, of course, you are a semi-regular on SpongeBob, and you played Mermaid Man.
Not too bad, huh?
I love it.
That's keeping up with the crowd, you see. You got to keep in there with the kids.
Well, I have a 10-year-old son, and that's one of his favorite characters on that cartoon. Could you do maybe an impression of Mermaid Man here? Just a couple of words?
The voice?
The voice of Mermaid Man.
Evil!
There it is.
Evil!
You get to work with Tim Conway. He's your
Tim
sidekick.
Conway plays
Barnacle
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, we have a ball over there.
I bet you do. You're still in the business, and you've had such a wonderful career along the way, and I really do appreciate you spending this time with us today.
Sonny, it's been a pleasure, believe me.
All right. Well, you take care and have a fun trip overseas.
I'm going to do it.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.